There is a specific kind of horror in realizing that this absolute bliss is actually a predatory hook. When a power source doesn't just offer strength, but actively sings to your cells, your own survival instinct becomes your biggest enemy. It is a hunger designed to reel you in. The encounter begins in a heavy silence. As a cloth-wrapped packet is pulled from the sawdust of an antique shop, it releases what mages perceive as a blazing siren song. To those sensitive enough to hear it, the lavender stone doesn't just sit there, it broadcasts a deafening rhythmic pulse of extraordinary might. This diagram represents the standard signature of health, human cells pulsing at a steady baseline rhythm. But upon seeing the stone, the body experiences a jolt like a fragment of the first creation, sending an ache through the flesh, blood, and muscles. Every cell in the body begins to crave a union with the stone, demanding that the heart match the frequency of the lavender crystal. In this biological mutiny, the body's own cells override the mind's logic, treating the object as a necessary partner for evolution rather than a tool. Vulnerability in this state comes from the inside, a biological system fighting the conscious mind to surrender to an outside force. While an internal cosmic storm rages, the external world demands a performance. The mage must navigate the mundane reality of a dusty shop, creating a jarring disconnect between the soul-shaking power they feel and the casual environment around them. This schematic shows a pre-existing defense at work. A black-and-green-jade bear amulet, keyed to store strength and mute the physical attributes of a mage, acts as a critical anchor against the incoming energy. The amulet creates a safe partition in the mind, providing just enough friction to block the instinctive leap toward the stone. It allows a small part of the consciousness to resist the overwhelming attraction, managing the outward craving even while the internal hunger persists. The effort to maintain this shield is exhausting. The mage's lips go numb from the psychic strain of simply calling the object an amethyst. Every word is a linguistic shield used to deflect suspicion, while the body is already reacting to the stone's influence. The most dangerous battles are fought through this type of exhausting mental friction, the struggle to appear mundane while being consumed from within. Physical contact makes the connection violent. Power smashes through the palms with the force of a rocket lifting into space. While observers might see someone struggling with a heavy rock, the mage is reeling from a massive volume of energy overloading their nervous system. Look closely at the stone's anatomy. One side is worn smooth by contact with the earth, featuring a specific curve that resembles a closed eyelid. This visual cue reveals the stone as a dormant, severed fragment of a massive, sentient consciousness. Realizing that a larger entity with this level of power still exists, transforms a discovery into a potential obsession. This flowchart maps energy pathways bypassing the logic centers entirely. Instead, the stone injects scents, sex, chocolate, whiskey, wood smoke, triggering high arousal. Hacking the reward system replaces reality with pleasure, dismantling defenses by making the bond feel essential. This sensory mimicry effectively reconfigures the host's internal reward system, turning a parasitic intrusion into a perceived necessity. The descent into a trance is rapid. External data, like the lethargy caused by falling snow, simply vanishes from awareness. The mage slips into a psychic void, where the stone becomes the only point of reference in a state of absolute rapture. Inside the trance, the stone begins to broadcast a command: bond with me, choose me. To make this surrender feel voluntary, the stone projects a feeling of profound, ancient loneliness. Weaponizing loneliness is the perfect strategy to target empathy. By projecting its own need, the stone tricks the mage into framing a takeover as a rescue mission. The multi-sensory bonding deepens as the mage tastes the power of smaller stone fragments, which carry hints of lilac, nutmeg, and hyssop. Baseline reality begins to feel dull and gray compared to this vivid, scented experience. This internal bliss is suddenly shattered by Lolo, a voice from the mage's past. Her psychic emergency broadcast violently pierces the trance, cutting through the amethyst's veil with a raw warning about the energy surge. Lola warns that the energy spike is too massive to hide. This surge will act as a beacon for the Seraphs, divine hunters drawn to such overwhelming displays of power. In this moment, the trap is complete, using the victim's own virtues, like empathy and the desire for connection, as the very mechanisms of their own binding. Even with an explicit warning to run, the addict in rapture rationalizes the danger. The mage blocks out the warning, convinced that others simply cannot understand this ecstasy. The desire for power begins to overweigh the fear of being hunted. While the mind is on a cosmic journey, the physical body is failing. The host's tongue feels thick, speech becomes clumsy, and the conscious mind goes offline. The cognitive disconnect is total. From the outside, the scene is alarming. While the mage feels a sense of ascending bliss, to everyone else, they look like a broken person staring blankly at a rock. The gap between the internal feeling and the external appearance is the true danger zone. This state is known as being Seraph-struck. To the outside world, this supposedly divine connection looks identical to a tragic, catatonic breakdown. The climax comes from a sharp, mocking comment. An observer's remark about being angel-awed acts as a psychic jolt, forcing the mage back from the stone's curated reality. As the trance breaks, the bare amulet's protection unfolds again, restoring clear logic. The mage is left shaken, realizing they were nearly consumed by a piece of rock. The hunger for power is a trap, capable of erasing a person's identity in seconds, often under the guise of an enlightened connection.